Batman, Deadpool, and a few other big two reviews. Did we strike gold, or is this just for fools? Howdy, howdy, American Texan here, and I like to read comics and review comics from a normie perspective. I don't talk about the drama or what people are posting on X or Twitter or Blue Sky, whatever. We want to talk about the stories and whether or not Marvel and DC is worth picking up. And if we do like the stories, let's talk about them and nerd out about them together. This week, I've got 5 reads, 2 from Marvel, 3 from DC. Let's go over to my table and let's look inside and talk about them.
All right, so once again, I got 5 books from Marvel and DC. It is going to be a huge week next week. But for now, let's at least enjoy the smaller week. We've got One World Under Doom by Ryan North. I know this is not a popular one. Most people that I listen to and watch on YouTube and follow on X did not care for this event. I think this is another classic example of Marvel having an interesting story, but poor execution. I really enjoyed this finale here. The fact that Doom is kind of a product of his own making, that he becomes so powerful and so hyper-focused that he doesn't see what he did to Val, and now he has to try to gamble, so to speak, make a bargain. And I think the art in this is fantastic. Him visiting the gods and this cosmic journey here. This is kind of where I think the middle of the event should have been. But instead, we get it all crammed into the last issue. Overall, One World Under Doom, it was kind of like Blood Hunt, an interesting concept that just fizzles away. A lot of it was kind of just talked away as well. Now the vampires are done. We're done with that. Vampires are cured. But I won't spoil the ending in case you haven't read it. But anyways, again, toys are back in the box with 1 or 2 changes. The Punisher 3. Holy cow. This was awesome. I really enjoyed issue 1. Issue 2 I thought was a little iffy, barely a red band, but this one goes red band to the wall. Mature audiences only. Look at this. This battle, this fight was just insane. It was almost a little tough to read at times. But man, this shot here, I love this shot. The Punisher, classic Punisher back. Even the letters in the back are, hey, I haven't gone to the LCS, but now I'm going for this book. You've brought the Punisher back. People seem to love this one. And thank you, editor and Percy and Ota, for putting this out there. And obviously the people are loving it. I absolutely enjoyed the Punisher. So did you read the Punisher? I'm surprised no one else or fewer people are talking about it. But I guess that's because everyone's talking about Batman, Deadpool. And I'm going to be honest, the first time I read this, granted I was on a plane, so I was not in the most comfortable position to be reading comics in the middle seat. I was a little, that's it. Okay. But then I read it again, kind of enjoyed it, read it again. I thought, actually, this is pretty wild. It just goes to show how cool it is that we can have these comics that we can read and reread. But this one, you've got Batman. Basically, the concept is really interesting. It's almost like Inception. You've got a story within a story within a story. You've got the overall story of these cosmic entities from Marvel and DC hooking up, which is actually, I don't care for that. I thought it was a little crass. But that brings together the worlds of Batman and Deadpool. Deadpool as being his usual crazy self. But then they also go into some kind of dream world where they're dreaming about what's happening, or Deadpool's having dreams about Batman. And an old amalgam shows up. It was just kind of confusing at first, but once I read it and reread it and kind of understand where the characters are and at what level of storytelling they're in, so to speak, I was actually kind of like, wow, that's awesome. So I'm not a huge Grant Morrison guy, but this actually grew on me. So in the art, the Dan Moore art, come on, y'all. This looks amazing. So this was really fantastic. Did I like it more than the Deadpool Batman? I think so, but not as much as I would think. I think not as much as many other people. I still enjoyed the Deadpool Batman, but the Batman Deadpool was awesome. And then towards the back, we got the Hayden Sherman, James Tynion, and Joshua William, and Scott Snyder. That's what I was trying to think of. And Hayden Sherman on this beautiful art. Again, he does not disappoint with his paneling and just the gorgeousness of here. I don't care too much for how he drew the men here. I thought they're a little, I don't know, just a little soft for my taste. But the fact that we get Ghost Rider versus Swamp Thing, you've got Doctor Strange talking with Constantine, and all this happening at once, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was awesome. So to see these happening, oh yeah, and then you've got the entities. I think that's Mephisto. I'm not sure who that is. Is that the Spectre? I'm not sure who that was, and that's my fault. So I think what happened was one of the writers, maybe Williamson, wrote the Ghost Rider versus Swamp Thing paneling, like what needs to happen. Another one wrote the Mephisto paneling and what happens in there, and then the other one wrote the Constantine Doctor Strange portion. But this was absolutely gorgeous. The other ones did not care for Laura Kinney and Nightwing. It was just a bunch of talky talk. I actually enjoyed the Harley Quinn Hulk story more than I thought I would. She's a little Deadpool of Harley Quinn, but I thought it was done though. And then the Miss Marvel Static, I don't know a lot about Static Shock. I do like Miss Marvel, but this one I think was just a little too teeny bopper for my taste. So overall, I did enjoy it. Probably not as much as I wanted to, but on second read, for sure, the Batman Deadpool story. And on third read, absolutely fantastic. Also enjoyed Batman Superman's World Finest. You've got Kal-El and Bruce watching football in the Batcave, lunching down there, and then Lex Luthor goes on an escapade, and so they got to suit up and go find them. And then we find out that Lex Luthor somehow gets intangible, falls down into a cavern, and the Joker is there with a proposition. And of course, as with anything with the Joker, you can't trust him, but the proposition goes sour, and we see what happens when Joker and Lex Luthor become their own amalgamation. So I enjoyed it. I think it was promising. I thought it was a pretty good setup, and I'm excited to see how that story pans out. Finally, Superman Unlimited. This was not my favorite read of the week. I've been enjoying Superman Unlimited, but this one really focuses around John and the Steelworks folks, and it was a side story. It was a side quest. So we drop everything that's happening in Krypton City, El Colorado, I think, and we focus on John, like beta testing anti-kryptonite gloves, and also he has to do some reporting without using his powers. I like that panel, the photo of Lois. Hey, I'm going to be an astronaut next week, and I will pose she strikes. I like that. I thought that was cool. But yeah, it was kind of more side adventure, less about Superman and what he's dealing with. I'm not out of the series. It just was the first issue I really didn't care for. But overall, for a short week that it was, I think Batman, Deadpool, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, and The Punisher were absolutely great reads. And if you could only get two, I would probably just say skip World's Finest and just get these two. This one, because it's a fun story and it just gets better the more and more you read it. And The Punisher, because The Punisher is back, baby.
Thank you guys for watching. If you want to chat about any of these, I'd love to nerd out about them with you in the comments down below. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. And if you want to talk about more comics, I've got indie reviews coming. And on Wednesdays, I like to share what I get at my LCS. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.